grounded, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Monday morning out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM. The Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. We could get into all kinds of different things. We'll wrap up the 26th annual KECO Arc Energy One Source Arc Energy Open. I wasn't sure who was I never did figure out who got top billing there, so I'm just going to say them all. Both ways, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, let's start with Arc because they hooked me up with that tumbler.
I got one too. Appreciate that from the Morse boys, no doubt about it.
My brother-in-law will be okay with that because he's that one source. Anyways.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
It was a good Saturday. Yeah.
So we'll talk, we'll wrap up the weekend festivities out at Elk City Golf and Country Club for the 26th annual Hour Golf Tournament. We'll also hit the OK Kids State softball tournaments wrapped up over the weekend. The results are going to supply us with some guests that we'll tell you about. A little programming note. And then we've also got regional baseball tournaments from over the weekend, and now state tournaments starting, I know for sure today for 12U. Not sure about everybody else.
I don't know.
I've got it pulled up right here.
I'm sorry. I am.
Wednesday for 8U.
There we go.
Of course, they can squeeze a bunch more games in. Let's see about 10U because they're pitching. 10U's today. I had a feeling because of the pitching. So we can kind of tell you who all made it, who all did well for that, and then whatever else. So the College World Series has been awesome. For a week and a half long event that's been so close. Yesterday was a complete anomaly. Good grief. We stopped by a restaurant coming home from Weatherford.
Yeah.
We stopped in Clinton. They had it on. Now that we were kind of sitting across from it, and I thought, does that say 12-3? Yeah, a little bit later it said 24-3 or whatever. I mean, it's just like, holy cow. But that'll end up tonight.
It was a crazy weekend of baseball and scoring a lot of runs. So that Angels game.
Yeah, what did they score, like 20 in the first 2 innings or something like that?
Yeah, it was insane. It's like nobody's wanting to play defense or pitch. I don't know what's going on. I didn't see the highlights. Been pretty busy. But, yeah, it was crazy. It happened in the same weekend. Then it happened in the college level, at the highest level, no less.
Yes.
Crazy.
So tonight up in Omaha we'll end it. I'm anxious to see what LSU does with Paul Skeen. I don't think there's any way he starts, but you'd sure think he'd be right there ready to roll in a relief. You know, if it gets to the 7th inning and they need somebody to come in and shut it down.
Yeah.
You'd have a feeling that might be his job, even though he threw that gem on Thursday. 3 full days rest, and then today we'll see. We'll see what they have in store for him. I would be shocked if he started, but I would think he would be in some sort of a reliever role somehow. So we got all kinds of stuff. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. That is 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things, whatever else might be on your mind. Feel free to chime right in at 225-9698. If you're going to be outside the listening area, a couple ways to stay in touch. One of those is to log on to kadsam.com. The other is to download the app. The app's got it all. It has got radio. It's got Penny News. It's got Big Elk and Paragon TV, which, believe it or not, will be back on air before you know it. You know, it feels like, to me, I don't know about you, but to me, like this week is when I finally go, okay, it's summer.
It's exactly what my wife said after we left the ball fields last night.
Because two of the major, well, for me, there's three kind of major events after school gets out. One is the oil and gas golf tournament, our golf tournament, and then when baseball's over.
Yeah.
And so, and it was actually, at least for us, I don't think for y'all. I think y'all always kind of ended this weekend, right?
Yeah.
So, but for us, this is normally when we're at least a week ahead of where it normally is. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times we're playing into the second week of or third week of July. Instead, we're done before July is even hit the calendar. So that's going to be a little bit different. But it's like, okay, now it's summer. But the problem is it's like 30 days. 31 days it'll be August, and then it'll be school closed shopping time.
Yeah. Yeah, my kid the other day asked, "Hey, when are we gonna go shopping for kid or school supplies?" my littlest one. We found out her motive. She wants a new bag, so she's trying to
like a new backpack.
Like a new backpack.
Yeah.
First off, no, you're gonna probably stick with the same bag, James. But I'm like, what are you talking about? We're still playing softball.
I don't think it's no tax weekend yet, James.
No. Yeah. But God bless her. I mean, she's wanting to go back to school. We were worried there for a little bit about the whole school thing. But now everywhere we go, she's reading signs and stuff. I mean, she thought reading was a pain in the behind, but it's sticking, and she likes school, I guess.
It doesn't mean that it's not. It just means that she's going ahead and doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. It's like, fine, I'll do it. Whatever.
All right, so one of those events was the KECO golf tournament this weekend, number 26 of these. Man, thanks to everybody that came out. Thanks to all the players. It was resounding success in my mind. I was still getting text messages last night from guys that came long distances, Tyler, Texas, San Antonio, wherever it might have been. Still receiving those texts even into this morning of just thank you. It was awesome, the golf course, and all of them are exactly right. I mean, kudos to James, Kenny, and his staff out there, the maintenance crew on the golf course. It is absolutely phenomenal. I would have loved, you can't control it, but I would have loved to have seen yesterday's north wind that they thought might get here on Saturday afternoon, just with some different tee boxes that were created. Just for that, for those guys in the championship flat guys, and then also not as much. I mean, just not the rain when it happened, because he had the greens at a different. The speed was what it was, but he really he had them where they were firmer, where it was going to make a bigger difference of being in the fairway versus the rough. Which, if you don't know, the guys in the afternoon, they have to drop the ball in the rough if that's what they choose. And he had it to where it was going to be pretty firm, and the decisions would have to be made. Do you want the 40-yarder in the rough, or would you rather play from 70 in the fairway? That's always been kind of the goal, I think, of having to drop it in the rough. And we've never quite gotten to those conditions. We were on track, and then Thursday, Friday, it rains 2.5 inches combined, and everything softens back up. But I didn't hear a single complaint. Condition of the golf course. And like I told some people that did want to complain a little bit about the pin positions, 6,000-yard golf course, hit it closer. You don't like the pin, hit it closer. It's a 6,000-yard golf course.
I always thought when people complain about the where the hole's at, that they're really complaining about their own game.
Yeah, sometimes. Now,
that's just an excuse.
I say that
and how the ball rolls on the green. Like, okay, really, just hit the ball. Come on.
There were a couple. There was one in particular where, as in the morning, there was still, you could see wet on the greens, the dew or what have you. There was one where I was a little concerned as the afternoon wore along that it might be, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't see what I was hoping you wouldn't see the ball just go and then roll back and go, and
sure.
I never quite got there. So. But yeah, it's 6,000 yards, folks. It needs to be difficult. And, and I think maybe. I
mean, it's championship level golf. That PM flight. I mean, it makes sense to.
Here's what I think.
What was the reaction of the? What was it? 2 of them that you made longer?
Yeah.
What was did you get any reaction off of that?
Everybody loved them. Everybody loved it was actually 3. Number 7 went from like I was there when somebody shot it up front, like 188, 181 or something like that, back to 237. Number 4 was probably another, 50 yards, 60 yards back, which one of the groups I saw hit tee shots there well outside of 220 versus, in years past being close to the 100-yard range. So, I think that's the one hole that the softness helped at least make it a little bit harder was number 4 because of where the ball was landing. It wasn't going anywhere for those guys. It was landing into the slopes, and they couldn't hardly fly it far enough to get past the one slope to kind of get it rolling down the fairway. So that was a huge change. That's been a hole where if you didn't make an Eagle 3, you lost a half a shot or maybe a full shot to the field in the championship flight. It wasn't that way on Saturday. I think I watched 3 groups come through and nobody made 3, which is great. And then number 12, we put it back a little bit further. That one didn't have as much of an effect as the other 2 did, I don't think. But no, the golf course was great. It came down, and for the second time in 3 years, the same guy on the same team hit almost the identical shot that ends up being the difference in the entire golf tournament. So Michael Martinson, Bobby Massa, Garrett and Jake Doggett, Garrett Ray, I think was his last name, something like that. Everybody at the top is pretty close. They get to number 16, the par 4 that goes up the hill,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're all sitting there waiting on tee shots. A bunch of people, but it's a pretty decent gallery watching that group, and all of a sudden you hear thump, and he flew his drive right into the middle of the green.
Oh, my goodness.
2 years ago on that hole, the pin was in the back kind of left, and he hit it to a foot from the tee.
Wow.
Almost drove the green.
Wow.
So when everybody got up to the green, he was playing with local guys, and one of them told me, he said, I just saw something I've never seen. Like, what do you mean? He goes, as soon as he hit that driver on a par 4, he started yelling, "Bite, get down!" He thought he drove it over the green.
Wow.
And so they ended up making like a 30-footer for Eagle on the par 4, and that was the difference. I mean, at that point, with just a few holes left, you kind of knew, okay, that's going to be the winner. Doing it that late in the round, so kudos to them.
Impressive.
A team with Luke Phillips, kid that played at high school golf at Sayre, college golf at Southwestern. They were second, a couple of shots back, and then there was a big playoff for third. And one of the guys I graduated played high school golf with, Dustin Gunkel, birdied number 10 to win the team playoff there. So Tips agency, Justin, and Travis end up third in the championship flight. Let's see, A flight, it was Conley Ernst and his team. Conley's been a Benny Keith guy forever. Or a food guy forever, I should say. He supplied my parents' food for their restaurant for a long time. So they win the scorecard playoff. What a perfect! The scorecard playoff was on number 6, par 4. Mm-hmm. They chipped it in for Eagle. So perfect draw for him. Cole Hammond and his buddies on 4H Energy tied. They both shot 17 under in A flight, and so Benny Keith wins the playoff. And then R&R Powerline, Bobby Martin, those guys, they won the scorecard playoff against KJ and Rusty for third. Then in B flight, Cud's number 1 team, there was 4 61s tied atop B flight leaderboard. Scorecard playoff went to Cud, number 1. That was Colby Kilhofer, Danny and DJ De Leon, Brandon Embry. So they were first. L&R Tire was second. David and Travis Poole, Steve Thomas, and Case and Cook. Shout out to Travis for making it Saturday morning. Shocked. He looked better than I thought he would. He did a great job. He hit some pretty good shots, too. I saw him make a long putt on number 10. So they were second. And then KLX, TTS, that's Juan Lopez, Chase McAbee, a couple other guys there at 61. Then down, it's the tie for 5th or tie for fifth. Tie for first in C flight. There were 6 5-unders, if I remember right. Big B Energy, Jackie Garrett, and those guys were the winners. A Doug Gray team, Matt Coleman, John Coleman, Shiloh, Ely were second, and then Grant Graham, my cousin Grant, and his buddies. Matthew Thompson, remember him, number 11,
Sure.
the fast kid?
Yeah.
He was out there. Grant, Nick Nagel. They introduced me to the other guy. I can't remember. Sorry. It was late in the day by that time. But that was your winners in the 3 flights.
Great. Course
Race was awesome. On Friday night, we had, how did that go? Justin Barrick was third. Tyron Van Vegan was second. He played golf with some guys from out here at OCU. He played on the PGA Tour. Everybody was kind of figured out who he was in the crowd on Friday. They started looking up his tour stats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he cashed like $3.3 million worth of checks on the PGA Tour. So, I mean, this gets you an idea of what the caliber was out there. Yeah. And then the winner was on Keith Pasby's team. He was a kid. We're talking about the College World Series. So he played at Oregon State back in the middle of the 2000s. He said his first year was Jacoby Ellsbury's. He played with Jacoby Ellsbury for 2 years. The first year they made it to the College World Series and lost both games. The next year was Jacoby's last year, in which they won, and his last year.
Okay.
And then the Oregon State won it again the next year, and he wasn't there. Something like that. Or maybe Jacoby never won it. He was on the team, and then this guy won one of the first of the 2 in a row.
Oh, wow.
Chris. He was a good dude. They were all good dudes. They were it was fun. Fun weekend.
Yeah. I keep noticing, this isn't a bad thing, but it tells me it's a good tournament because I keep seeing the same people over and over and over again who return. And sometimes this is the only time of the year that I see those people that I know. You know what I mean? Because they're from out of town. They're from like Canadian Texas or something, or actually, from that area. But and I always wonder, well, I wonder if he's going to be here, and there he is. You know, so. And it's the same faces that have come from out of town. They make a note of it. They circle it on the calendar. They make plans to be here. And you know, and the new guy, like new people that played it, I was, when we're switching in the AM to PM, and I was getting golf carts, and you know, 2 of them went to their trucks to unload. And I was like, hey guys, we'll just follow you. We'll take your golf cart after you unload, and you know, we'll get your trash. Don't worry about it. And they were just raving about the golf tournament. It was their first time to play in it. They were getting our names and like, yeah, we listen to you guys on the radio. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And but they said, I was asking them, like, how'd the course play? Like, I mean, we're a little worried because we took on a lot of rain in a short amount of time. Like, they raved about the course conditions, how it played, the length, everything, and how professionally it was ran. I know we're tooting our own horn here, but we take pride in it. So it was a good weekend, very good weekend out there.
You know, I was really wondering, not necessarily as much for the morning guys, because if you just go out to almost any golf course on any old day, you know what you hear now that you didn't say 15 years ago?
Man, how green it is out here.
Music. No, music.
Oh, the music.
Yeah, you hear music. Just for people have speakers in their own cars.
That's true.
And
yeah.
I don't think it was – everyone loved it. I mean, obviously, that was a little.
I was curious how that was going to.
As soon as Gabe got back from LIV, and that experience up there in Tulsa, you know, that was an immediate like, okay, we got to figure out how to make this work. So that kind of piggyback off of that, just that atmosphere, and it was awesome. There was only one place on the whole course where you could kind of hear echoes.
Was it over
by the houses?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could kind of hear it. It was echoing just a little bit, like on number 7 green or 8 tee box.
Yeah.
Kind of there. But other than that, you never could. And
you
even,
always heard it.
Heck, even going down, our house isn't very far.
Could you hear it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, you couldn't?
Uh-uh.
Wow.
That surprised me.
Well, I guess the way
because it felt like you could hear, but maybe it was just because you kind of go down the hill a little bit.
That's a good point, because I was going a lot back and forth between the golf course and Blake's house, and I'd go with the windows down because my truck was so hot, so I was trying to get that hot air out. I never heard it.
Yeah, you could. It was really weird how it didn't. I mean, It was probably obviously the way that the
way the speakers were angled, yeah.
for sure, kind of at each other.
I mean, when me and Gabe were setting those up, or a couple of them up at like 6:30, and we turn them on, I'm thinking, it's 6:30, man. We're right next to these houses.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, but no one complained, and I think everybody understood. It's a radio station's golf tournament. We're probably going to hear music.
Yeah, we surely, if anybody can get away with that, it's us, right? Because
Yeah.
of what we are.
I think everybody understands. It's kind of like you understand if a golf ball accidentally hits your window. Hey, you built a house next to a golf course, so same thing. You're going to hear some speakers, but I think that was a nice addition. I was wondering how that would play out. Now, I got to ask, because we didn't do it this year. Did anybody go, where's the scoreboard?
No, you know what people wanted to know? You know what people missed? I really didn't have
Horse race coverage?
Yes. Yep. That was the one that of the things that were, questions I was getting, either texts from people who weren't there or people at the, that are used to that. Yeah, no one really said a word about the scoreboard, but I got a bunch of, why didn't y'all, where was the video for the horse race? That was the one that we didn't.
Well, I'll tell everybody this. It's harder than heck to shoot golf. It really is. I mean, I have crazy respect when I watch it on TV.
Yeah, I know.
You think it's easy because golf is so, air quoting here, slow.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. It's not easy to get the right camera angle and try not to interfere with the golfer and all that stuff. We tried that one time. We rigged up a golf cart and had wireless stuff going on.
Yeah, we did 2 or 3 years, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we'll just have to explore that. I think phones are the way to go. I don't know. We'll probably try to look at that next year, bringing that back.
Yeah, it was just that was the one that I got.
Very good.
That and make everybody turn around on chip-offs, which that's up to the players.
Make everybody turn around.
So if you have a chip-off,
Uh-huh.
there's 2 schools of thought. If there's me and you chipping off, you chip first. I can't look. I can't see what you did.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where you hit your shot.
Oh, so you chip it, then you go and pull your ball.
Somebody will mark it. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And you can't turn it around until the ball is marked. Now, guys try to what you have to do is you have to you look at the shot, because people want to. I get that. Here's what's in front of me. Here's feel it with their feet now. All of a sudden, that's a big thing. But when you see guys that have already done that, have their back turned, the ball is chipped, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, one last check, and while they're doing it is looking for a mark to see how close. So it almost defeats the purpose if you let that. But the deal, if that's then that's kind of was a thing that we'll probably look at for next year, changing back to, because we've done it in the past. But okay, you can do all that looking you want to before somebody hits a shot. But after that, there's no one last look. You have to stay at the mark. Okay, you can't go halfway up, see where because then it defeats the purpose of turning your back.
Sometimes you could use your phone to mark where you parked.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to do that. I wonder if there's a way without putting a mark on the green. You can go.
Sure, there is.
Just hit a button on your phone.
Well, I forget this. I remember it as soon as we get to the first green every single time. The first chip off. All you got to do is take a tape measure.
There you go.
All you have to do is take a tape measure, measure the first one, and a lot of times you can kind of tell, okay, what's closer, what's not. But you have the tape measure right now, and then you don't have anything on the green. You don't have a mark for anybody to look at.
Very good. Yeah.
So
it's a good idea.
We can figure that out. But no, resounding, I think, success. Everybody had a great time, and it'll be back before you know it. There were some people that were there that didn't get signed up fast enough. I mean, this was the fastest ever this year. It was like 36 hours worth of sign-up time for no kidding, 36 hours.
In the short amount of time I've been a part of this, from what I can remember, that was the quickest that filled up. From when we opened it up, It was full. It was pretty full in a hurry.
It opened 8 a.m. on Monday, and we were full with the ABC flight by noon on Tuesday.
Insane.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, Scott's right. We need to get Gabe's drone. That's what figure out the drone coverage.
I can bring mine out too.
Yeah.
Give me something to do.
Fly the drone
the
around.
thing runs itself after 26 years. You know what I mean?
I got news for you. There's no better feeling on Saturday than all the morning teams get checked in. It's all right. We have the right amount.
Yep.
Everybody's there. And then the other 36 teams get checked in on Friday or on the Saturday afternoon. And then we get 36 scorecards from the morning guys. You're not having to chase anybody down to get their scorecard. As soon as we get those, my blood pressure drops immensely.
Yeah, it'll smooth. One thing I was worried about was our swag we were handing out, those tumblers with the speakers on them, which, by the way, got a lot of people going, whoa, that's cool. I think we found out we're like short 4 or 8.
Found them.
But we found them.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only thing I could think of. Oh no. Well, we found them.
Yeah, I know.
We're good.
I was gonna have to pull the 4 guys from Alva's back and pull somebody local back and then take them up there in a couple of weeks. But, yeah, it all worked out. All worked out great.
Yeah, good weekend.
It was. Got a bunch of recaps going on. Recapping the KECO golf tournament that happened this weekend. Now it's time. Recap the OK Kids state softball tournaments. 8U was held at Clinton. The 10U was over at Weatherford, and then the 12U down in Ada. Jared was a part of 2 of those tournaments. He was actually were you actually on the field for the 8U one?
For one game on Saturday. Thursday, yes, we played one game. Friday, no, because I had to be here. And then Saturday, I was able to break away, get over there for one game. Almost stayed for a second, but thought this is going to be cutting it close because we're about to be done here. And so I needed to get back. So, but yeah, I was there for a couple of them.
All right, so the 8U over at Clinton, the winner, the team that is the state champion, is the Moreland 2K14 Lady Cats. Hobart Freeze, which was in this league, the league here at Elk City, was second. I know Merritt, the Merritt Storm, were in the Final Four. They were playing yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Also part of this league.
And do we know who the 4th team was? Chickasha. So it was Chickasha versus Hobart, Merritt versus Moreland yesterday. And then Moreland and Hobart make it to the finals, and Moreland is your state champ. But Canute, you guys, for a young team that we talked about on Friday, I think I saw Jeremy put it out there, 9 that could have been playing T-ball?
Yeah.
We're on there, and to make it to state tournament, that's awesome.
Yeah. Listen, we as coaches, and Jeremy reflected that too in that Facebook post. We were like, hey, let's just develop them here. Maybe in a couple of years we can get them to state. And those girls blew our expectations out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, these are girls that are. And the funny thing about it was when they got the state, or when they go and they get hot at the right time, they win the league, and it's they're going to state, and it was all this. It was like a complacency, but it was like, well, yeah, you told us we're going to state all season long, and we just use that as a motivator, right? And so they weren't like, okay, yeah, this is what we do. We're supposed to be here, And they came out and they went up to get a really good Washington team and lost, but man, they bounced back with a 8-1 win over Thomas, a 17-1 win over Elgin, and they took on Blanchard on Saturday, and they got down 8-1, and chipped away at it, got to the bottom of the 5th. They were the home team, and they were down 10-7 at that point, and pushed a couple runs across with 3 bases loaded with 2 outs. So had a chance to tie or win that thing. Just couldn't do it. Just grounded out for the 3rd and final out. But I mean, they could have gave up then, being down 8-1 to I mean, these are all good teams. I mean, I say it a lot, but these are state quality teams, and those girls proved it that they belonged to be there. Very proud of them. Very proud of them. And now that expectation is going to be a little higher going into next year, because they're not T-ball girls anymore. Now they're coach pitch kids, and they're going to expect to get back.
Yeah,
Congratulations to Merritt, too. I saw one of the Merritt coaches out here at our golf tournament, and we were really chatting it up. And Hobart, we're good relationship with them. We scrimmaged, actually, leading up to the tournament because they wanted, get some quality practice in. It was like, come on over here, and we'll scrimmage. Sentinel made state, too. They're part of our league. And congratulations to all the other local teams. See, Weatherford was there, Weatherford Wildcats. Trying to make sure I'm not missing any other.
Was Cordell there, or was that the older ones?
There's no Cordell.
Okay,
I don't believe.
So that was in the 10 and 12.
There's an Arapahoe team there. Yeah, I mean, Western Oklahoma. We always say this. We always expect this too. They are Western Oklahoma is well represented. Moreland, I consider them on the west side, northwest side of the state, and obviously pretty good too by winning it all.
Yeah, I think that Merritt team's pretty young too. Maybe not clear to the T-ball age, but I think they were kind of younger. Coach pitch team on a bunch of their team, talking to one of their dads, as well. So, and it was funny because it was like when it was the same thing. Like, all right, let's see what we got, let's get better, and for next summer, and now you look up and you're like, we're in the Final Four. What like, all right, this is great, great experience for sure, even for next year. So then the 10U was at Weatherford, and two of the 4 Final Four teams were from the league here.
Almost 3. Cheyenne had a chance. They were a win away to get in that as well, but they fell short. But, 2 out of 3, us and Elk City. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 was Moreland, the eventual champ, and Dale. And Elk City took care of Dale and got to the final. We fell to Moreland. A game Canute was up at 1 point 3-1.
It was 3-1 early.
It felt good. Felt like our pitching can hold up, and I was really worried about that because she – threw a lot of pitches in an extra inning game on Saturday. That was wild. I got the story on that if you want to hear it later.
Yeah, I've been waiting on that one.
And then she turned around, played a Middleburg team.
Did we figure out where that's at?
Yeah, it's southwest of Blanchard.
Oh,
I was talking to one of the coaches.
Right.
I said, hey, Coach, how many times have you been asked where Middleburg is at? And he's, plenty. And he said, yeah, we're a small little community. He said there's maybe about 300 people in the town. But they have a really good pitcher, and they upset Thomas to get to where they're at. And I thought Thomas might have been the team to beat in this thing. And Thomas actually got upset again by Cheyenne and was out. They didn't even play on Sunday, which raised my eyebrow. And I thought there's an opportunity for a lot of teams. This thing might be wide open. But anyways, back to my point, our pitcher, Emma, she was pitching against Middleburg and pitched a great game in a 5-1 win. Put her out there against Moreland, and her daddy will probably tell you her arm just ran out of gas. Mm-hmm. She gave it her all. I mean, to a point, she was wearing a blister on her pinky. And we were trying to tape it up or put super glue on it or new skin or whatever it's called, and just trying to keep her there. And we pulled her out after it got out of hand, and she was not happy about it. She is such a competitor. But those girls, proud of them. Same thing. I mean, we expected them to get to state, but maybe let's just see what happens. And to get to the Final Four, and when we lost, and all those girls, I mean, they're bawling their eyes out, and that just tells me they care. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to end it like that. They want that state title, and I might be a little biased, but I think it's coming. They keep working hard and stick together. They're going to be okay. But that's a great Moreland team, classy bunch. But no offense to Moreland, but I was really hoping it would be an all Kids Inc. Western Oklahoma final between us and Elk City. I have nothing but high praise for them and respect for them too. And I talking to Elk City fans, they're saying the same thing. Like, we're rooting for you guys. We want to see you guys in the finals because that's a win-win for everybody. Right. But then they fell to Moreland too, kind of in a similar fashion. So Moreland, man, they had some good hitters. Really good hitters.
That's the one thing that I noticed about both, just kind of not being there, but looking in the scores. The 8U and the 10U with the Moreland teams were putting runs on the board. Yeah.
They can hit.
There was very few like 4-1s or anything like that. It seemed like they were, pretty.
Here's the deal. There's
5 or more almost every time.
There is a name of DeWald in Moreland, and there's one on the 8U team, and there's one on the 10U team. Yeah, so if you got one of those swinging the bat on your team, you got a good shot.
Yeah, here they are, 15. They did 5-4 against Morrison, which I think that's the team that Elk City had to beat, Saturday to get into the Final Four, if I remember right. The Morrison Lady Cats, and it was close. It was a very close game.
They beat them 4-3.
Yeah, 4-3. And so that was the one team. Morrison was the only team that held
Moreland
under 10.
Yeah, Moreland was down going into the bottom of the fifth
on the
against
Morrison. So I know
because we were waiting for the winner of that game, and it was back and forth, and but like I said, Moreland can hit, and they hit it at the right time.
Yeah, and I think Lola against Morrison hit a walk-off single. With Elk City was down 3-2 going into the last inning against Morrison, and then they scored 2 runs and a walk-off for her. But no, great job by everybody. Like you said, it would have been way cool if it could have been Elk City and Canute in that final.
Yes.
And instead, Moreland ran through. They were the Kids Inc. champ and the state champ with what happened in the Final Four. You know what I mean? Beating kind of like Mello was in the Big 12.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, kind of like that with that 10U bunch. And then the 12U, which, oh, by the way, we will have these young ladies in studio on Thursday. Thursday at 9:30, the Elk City Elkettes are the 12U state champions. And you want to talk about pure and total domination. The Elkettes are the epitome of that. They win, 5 games by a combined 67-5?
I believe it. I've seen them play. They're really good.
Just an amazing performance by Denny and those guys, their team. 19-2 over Fletcher, 16-1 against Leedy. Then they beat Cordell 12-1, and they win the state title 19-0, 20-0, something like that. I mean, it was just
19-0. Yeah.
19-0 over Clinton, which Clinton is the runner-up.
Kudos to them. They lost their first game.
Yeah.
And came back to get to that game.
They lost to Preston 5-4.
Yeah.
And then they turned around. They beat Leedy 8-5, and they beat Preston 10-9. Then they beat Cordell 8-6 to get into that title game. But the Elkettes were just awesome, obviously.
Yeah.
With the way that they played.
Yeah.
Throughout. So kudos to them. And like I said, 9:30 on Thursday, we will see some of those gals. Hopefully all of them will get to come in. There was, that's the second with Denny. He said he was tired of the bickering back and forth by siblings who have been on state championship teams in the summer. Catch is going to be a junior on the baseball side.
That's good.
And now Maggie on the 12U team here is like, and the one thing that Catch had over her was got to be on the show. I was like, you know what? It's funny you say that because I was thinking about that last night. Like, okay, we got to get them in here if they want to.
Yeah.
You should never know. But there will be a whole bunch of nervous faces. But there will be one. There always is. One that's ready to fire out and talk our legs off. Do you remember who it was for the boys? Because I sure do.
I don't.
I do.
Who was it?
Cole Bowie.
Who do you think will be with this group?
Oh, gosh, I don't have any idea. I don't know. Girls are different. It'll be somebody. It might be Maggie. You never know.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun coming up on Thursday. Then the baseball, we had a bunch of regional baseball here. Let's see what Denny said. He's texting in. Who will it be?
Oh, who's?
Lindley Pogue, he says. Lindley Pogue. Okay.
Now we know.
Her sister's been here before, too. Aubrey.
Really?
Yeah. When it's been a couple summers ago when they went to the Nationals when Jay Wyatt, it was Kennedy and Aubrey, a couple, yeah. Anyway, heck, the whole Gino family almost has been on the show.
Yeah.
Olivia was here. Catch has been here. Now we'll have Maggie. Get Alonzo in here. Let him be on the air too. Oh dear. I don't know if I need to say that.
My phone's blowing up too.
Oh, that's great.
They're wanting me to talk about the incident. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, yeah. We got to hear about this. The question on the text line I just got was, did Atha get kicked out on Saturday?
No.
You don't coach that team, right? So
no, I'm a coach. I mean, I'm on the coaching staff.
Right.
But I let Jeremy and Wes take the lead when we're at this level. Now, next year I'll be more involved. I more or less just keep book or make sure girls are batting in order. I help them at practice and everything. But No, I did not get thrown out on Saturday. I wasn't there. I wasn't at that game.
Okay.
This was the 10 you were talking about.
Yeah.
I was not there.
There were 3 total fired out of there?
Yeah, two
coaches?
Two from Dale and one from
Canute
were thrown out. I'm trying to be the nice radio guy about this. I don't want to stir the pot too much. I don't know if you have many Dale listeners. So, I'm not the music guy either. That's not on me.
I heard Jared, the coach, is bucking on the field.
Yeah, right. I took third base out and walked away with it.
Did you? Was there a rosin bag and you made like a little grenade and fired it?
I was crawling. Yeah. You really want me to get into it, or do we need to?
Oh yeah, let's talk about this.
Really?
Yeah, just you don't have to. Just kind of what happened.
Well, this is what, and I found the video, and I'll show you the video later.
Okay.
But apparently there is a coach from on Dale's side that talked rather loudly.
Okay.
And our team was on the first base side dugout. Well, our coach over there coaching third, and I'll omit names, but if people listen enough, they'll know who. And
I think everybody knows which one of those two on your side.
There
got
was a close play at third. It started with there was a close play at third, where the third baseman, my beautiful daughter, had to put the tag on, and she did, and got her out. And it started from there, where the coach was chirping at our coach, saying, "How much did you pay the ump? How much are you paying him?" And kept making motions to our first baseman coach, and because there's a lot of yelling back and forth, and it was, kind of the "let's go, bro" motions,
Oh, really?
Let's go. And it kept going on, and then from what I understand, what set him off was, our coach off was, when your girls are at bat or players are at bat, and between pitches, they'll step out, maybe take a couple swings, practice swings, look at your coach for a sign, and get back in the box. Well, as soon as our girls would step out, he'd yell at our girls to get back in the box. And that's when our coach looked over at him and kindly told him to be quiet. And I'm not,
yeah,
And then then it got a little ruckus. Coaches had to be separated. The Dell coach pushed an umpire, physically pushed him. Well, he got tossed.
Yes.
One of our coaches was coming across to basically stop something from happening.
Mm-hmm.
But because he came across the field of play and whatever, he got tossed too. And then another Dale coach got tossed. And cooler heads prevailed, and the better team won. The classier team won.
Yeah, and that'd have been exciting to be out in the parking lot when everybody had to go out in the parking lot together.
Listen, it carried over yesterday.
Did it?
We didn't even play each other.
Oh, that's right, because they played Elk City. They got beat by Elk City.
But they were playing after us, and they were taking our dugout, and they're waiting for our clear out the dugout. And apparently a couple of fans were talking back to one of our fans, and one of our fans said, they told our fan, "Stop staring at me." And our fan said, "I'm not even looking at you, lady."
Oh, no.
It was. And he went over there and said, "Listen, can we just let this go and just remember these are kids, and we're here for these girls?" And it would have been really fun if we had rematched with them. My wife was like, "I'm glad you weren't there. You would have been in the parking lot with the other coaches. You would have been tossed, Jared. Your mouth would have got you in trouble." Nah, but from what I'm told, it was over the top with what the guy was yelling. And I praise my coach for he said, when you're yelling at the kids, our kids,
that's right.
That's crossing the line,
No.
and that's when he told him to.
That's when people are going to get upset.
Yeah.
You can
yell at your own girls.
yell at your girls. You can yell at the coaches about paying whatever.
Yeah, yell at the umps.
When you've got a 10-year-old or 8-year-old kid or 12-year-old kids, and you start trying to tell them what to do, and they're not your kids, that's when people are going to get upset.
Yep. And that was the tipping point for our Canute coaches. And I'll go to war with those guys any day. And I'm comfortable. I couldn't be there, obviously, But I got guys that are
Oh,
like their dads, and I know they're going to protect my kid.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing.
Yeah, that's going to make you feel good as a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
These guys
that's
are
you know
got
what,
the
a team is a family, and he was protecting his kids. So, but anyways, better teams rose to the top. Congratulations to Elk City, Canute, Moreland, Cheyenne.
Very good stuff.
Very good weekend. Very good season for everybody.
So that was the softball from the OK Kids this weekend.
Baseball. This is crazy. It's so long. It's awesome. I wish Monday through Friday.
Yeah, you know what's not awesome?
The drive, the 4-hour drive.
I was going to say no, and this is so
playing Elk City all the way on the other side.
Played Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is going to have to be looked at moving forward because the pitching rules have changed this year from what they have been in the past.
The limit, the amount that you can throw?
It is determined by pitches now instead of like outs and innings.
Okay.
And so even if the games would have been played on time, like they were here for the 10U,
yeah,
you're still finishing on Saturday to start on Monday. And so the pitching rules, the pitch count rules are this: 0 to 35. You don't have to sit. You know how few 35 pitches is? It's not very many.
Not very many.
Not very many. So 0 to 35, you don't have to sit. But 36 to 50, you have to sit 1. 50 to 75, 2. 75 to like 100 is 3. Then 100 to 120 is 4, whatever. And 120 is the absolute max, I guess. And those are just kind of I think what's going to happen is once they get the feedback at the OK Kids spot, these regionals are going to have to start earlier in the week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It needs to probably be maybe a Monday through Thursday with the state tournament starting on Monday. Because it just puts you – I mean, listen, it doesn't hurt us. I can promise you that because we've got – there's only one kid that isn't available today, even having to play Saturday and Sunday. And that's in kudos to Jory and those guys for what we've done all season and, heck, what they've done for their whole time as a team that we were fortunate enough to be able to be on now. And that's develop arms. So,
it's a big thing.
For some, it probably hurts worse than others. But, yeah, you're right. How crazy is it? We're driving 4 hours across the state of Oklahoma to play Cheyenne, who's 20 miles away. That's a pretty wild deal. And I know this has been, it's pretty interesting to step into this side of this. So, for years, the Sayre team that Wyatt was on when we were there, so that team would be playing with these two, with the Crushers and Cheyenne, but we were the young ones. These are kind of the old. They're the last year, and so we would be. I mean, obviously wanting to beat these two teams, but also a year behind, and it just kind of. But these two have had battle after battle after battle after battle, from T-ball on, right? I mean, it's kind of. It really is kind of ironic that it worked out to where here, first round, as we were walking out, they were finishing up their game. Against Okarchi that they fell to be the runner-up of that regional, which put them against the champion, which we were there. So it was just like, all right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. and thinking, why don't we just do this right now?
Yeah.
And then we can have the day off and join up whenever we need to on Tuesday over at Salisaw. But so that's, Elk City Crusher's going to play Cheyenne. There's just looking at kind of what I remember as far as teams and the Crushers 2 years ago as 10U, like the old 10U team, they played in the state finals and ended up getting second. But some teams that I can remember, there's the Salisaw, I think Cardinals is a team that I believe won it that year, and Darko, which could be a team coming up. Kingfisher Blue Sox were good. Okarchi, the team that beat Cheyenne in the regional, they're pretty good. Like you said, once you get to this point, there's going to be a whole bunch of good teams.
Well, looking at it, there's a lot of we always obviously we follow high school pretty closely. There's a lot of teams that you are used to hearing at the high school level have success, right? Like Okarche or Blanchard, Elk City, so Anadarko. So that just tells me that you think a run is done for some high school teams. Not so fast, my friend. There's a lot of young kids that are coming up.
Yeah,
by evidence of who's playing in these state tournaments.
Yeah, shout out to the Alva Renegades. They were the other team out of our regional, and that's a team that I don't know if they've ever made it this far, because we've kind of been in the regionals with them all throughout the time, and they've gotten really close. But I don't think they had ever gotten over the hump and actually got into any of the the 8 to 10 to now 12U state tournaments they did. They beat a Hobart team that was scrappy. They just didn't have it yesterday. So shout out to both of those. But anyway, so that's the 12U. I know, man, heartbreaker for the 8U Elk City Bombers. So they played the Altus Drillers to get to the state tournament. They had played 5 times previous. Elk City had won 4 of those. They didn't win the right one. And Altus knocked them out. That was Saturday afternoon. As their season came to an end, and then Navajo, I think, is 8 and 10U state tournament bound from here. And so there's going to be a lot of baseball going on today for let's see, where is 8U in Weatherford?
Yes.
Yeah. No. 10U's in Weatherford.
10U's in Weatherford. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 10U's in Weatherford starts today. 12U's in Salisaw starts today, and then the 8U coach pitch tournament is in Clinton. I don't think it starts till like Wednesday. And so they've got plenty of time to get recovered. Yeah, so I'll be on site.
Very good.
For the next few days, calling in.
Hey, do me a favor and take a lot of water. Looking at the forecast for South, I was just curious if there's rain chances. No rain chances. 104 on Wednesday, 104 on Thursday, 102 on Friday.
Yeah, but you know what the good news is, Jared?
What's that?
Over there in Salisaw, the humidity's not but about 430%.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So 104 with 430 humidity.
Yeah.
It'll feel like a billion.
You have to peel your shirt off.
Yeah, I told Wyatt, I was like, dude, listen, if you boys could just win the first 3, just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that'd sure help me out. Because I got to come back here Thursday and wouldn't have to rush around to try to get back to a game anyway. That'd be nice. Yes. I'd really appreciate you if you could do that.
Yeah, I want to end this with one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this might sound superficial, but I'm serious. Shout out to the Weatherford people who put on the tournament over there, their grounds crew, and I know that everything was delayed by a day. And act of God, man, you can't be mad about rain. But they made a tricky situation into a good one. Fields were immaculate over there. Very impressed. It's the first time I've been to Weatherford to play softball, so I was very impressed with it. And Clinton too. They had to, for some part of that tournament, had to play it on baseball fields because it's grass and it was drier up before the dirt was. But they were able to move it back to dirt. Took a bad situation and made the best they can. And again, good job by the tournament directors and grounds crews at both Clinton and Weatherford. I was very impressed.
Yeah, it's something that you just take for granted here.
You really do. And I know we kind of give them a hard time. We didn't pass, but it was a well-ran tournament. Both of them were. Classy people, and everyone was there to answer a question if we had a question. And concession stands ran great. I mean, everything was great. And it's what you expect at the highest tournament at the end of the year, and it was great. So
did you – over on the softball side there at Weatherford, did you ever get it? Did you get a glass of tea?
No, I didn't get a glass of tea.
You didn't?
Supposed to?
Oh,
at Weatherford?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, how about so here?
I got some kind of tea at the golf course.
Oh, that's a different tea. That's a totally different one. But okay, so over here, do you guys have something called ice chest tea?
I've heard of that. In the
here
at ours, yeah, yes.
It's cut up like oranges and lemons and limes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we actually had that at our festival.
Okay.
Our opening season festival.
So that's the first place I ever saw it.
Oh, we're at Weatherford?
Was Weatherford.
Okay. I didn't get that. No.
Oh.
I was consuming water left and right.
Well, I can understand, but that was, you want to talk about a saving grace yesterday?
Man.
Yeah, the ice chest tea.
Well, I guess
it's
we'll
delicious.
have to get back to state, and if it's at Weatherford, I'll have to remember to get
You have
that.
to.
Maybe in
I mean, I assume they have it on the side. I know they do on the baseball side. Oh, it's good. It is really, really good.
It was, yeah. But like I said, I mean, it was really good. The fields, I didn't see any
it was
damage
funny.
or anything like that.
It was funny because the day on Saturday, when the first time that our guys got to play, I guess there was a kind of a fly ball hitting the gap. And it was one of those in the left center field gap. Center fielder couldn't get there. Left fielder couldn't get there. And so they're taking angles to try to back each other up, and one of them cut it off, before it bounces and goes to the fence or whatever.
Yep.
And they both overran it because it just stuck. It was like a golf ball into a green.
Yeah.
It just went boom. And Wyatt he stopped, turned around, and he's like, I had a hard time seeing it because it was like almost underneath the ground because it was just wet out there in the outfield.
Wow.
And watching yesterday even.
Thank goodness those softballs are yellow.
It was pretty funny to see, even line drives that were hit pretty hard, past the infield. They would hit the outfield, and it was just kind of
Yeah.
It wasn't it certainly wasn't what anybody was used to. No, it was good stuff. Very good stuff. All right, that's a Monday. I'll be calling in from Salisaw tomorrow.
Awesome.
Have to do that Wednesday. I'll be back in studio Thursday, as will the 12U state champion Elk City Elkettes. We'll have them at 9:30 on Thursday. Here's the deal. If our team wins, I don't know if I can trust those guys to come in here sometime next week. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way